for coming in and joining us for ICTC National Cyber Day. You're here from the Communications Security Establishment. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Deborah. We're really happy to be joining you for this year's Cybersecurity Awareness Month.
Awesome. Okay, so you have 30 seconds. It's a sprint. You got to go fast. You're going to introduce yourself, tell us about your organization and what you're doing to protect Canadians online. On your mark?
Absolutely.
Get set, go.
So my name's Koronewski, and I'm the lead spokesperson responsible for media relations and issues management at the Communications Security Establishment, which we also call CSC. And if you don't know what CSC is, don't worry. A lot of Canadians don't know who we are or what we do. But we're the main federal department responsible for protecting the Government of Canada's information systems and collecting foreign signals intelligence. But for the purposes of today, all you need to know is we make sure hackers and cyber criminals can't get access to Canadians' information in the government, whether that be tax information or employment history. And we work with Canadian businesses and critical infrastructure to help better protect them so they can stay safe online. We're also the department that is responsible for the government's national public awareness campaign called Get Cyber Safe, which provides easy to understand information for Canadians on how they can be safe online and how they can also keep their families safe online too.
We love the Get Cyber Safe program. We reference your material all the time. So we highly recommend that the kids check it out. And we'll be posting links to the site and some of the different infographics that's great to hear. Find useful. Yeah, really, really good work. Okay, so some of the questions that have been submitted. Here, number one, all of the cyber safety advice says that we should use multi-factor authentication or two-step verification on our accounts. But on our school accounts, we don't even get to choose or reset our own passwords. So how do we keep our accounts secure?
So first, that's a great question. And multi-factor authentication should be used whenever possible, but there's also other ways to keep your account safe. For example, an effective way to keep your account safe is to only log on from a trusted device, like a computer at your school or at home, and on a secure Wi-Fi network, like you'd also find at school or at home. I think it's also important to remember that these security restrictions that are placed on you, they're in your best interest. So continuing with some of the other tools that you can use, don't share your password with anyone else. It's meant only for you. It's really critical that you don't do that. It's also important to be able to detect phishing emails and spam messages. This means don't click on any suspicious links or provide personal information from online messages, even if it appears to come from someone you trust, like a friend or a teacher. If someone from a strange email address or a random message is asking you for lots of personal details, especially to your school account, details like you or your family or where you live, that should be a warning sign.
Yeah, great advice. Okay, so the next question, what is a white hat hacker?
This is also a great question. So white hat hackers or ethical hackers are people who find vulnerabilities, which are like holes in computer coding for hardware, software, or information networks. But unlike the bad hackers that we often hear about in the news, white hat hackers usually respect the law while doing so. And instead of using their access to conduct a cyber attack or making money like ransomware from some of these attacks, they tend to let companies or organizations know about vulnerabilities in their products before bad hackers can find the issue and exploit it. So a white hat hacker will find a vulnerability, they'll contact a company and say, we've found something that we think is a critical exploit. You should patch this. Here's the code that we discovered and here's what we think is the issue is. And they'll work together to find a common resolution.
So how would someone become an international cyber spy?
This is my favorite question of all the questions that were submitted to me. So in Canada, we are the intelligence agency that's responsible for foreign signals intelligence and cybersecurity. We encourage all of our applicants and future recruits to stay in school, get a good education, and help your community. Don't be afraid to be yourself. That's our main important message. International cyber spies include various people from different cultures who speak many different languages. You have to work hard, respect others, and follow your passions. Spies can come from all different kinds of educational fields and backgrounds, not just technology. We have spies and intelligence analysts who have educational backgrounds in geography, history, English, French, and even politics. Each one of you have something unique that you can offer to help protect Canada. And I encourage you to visit our CSC website where you can find out more about the types of jobs we have offered and the types of educational requirements that we look for in our successful applicants.
Okay, that sounds like a super cool job. So we're going to make sure that it's linked from the video, so anybody who's interested can go straight there and find what they're looking for. Okay, so cyber safety tips. So we've had some parents and teachers asking about what they can start with. What messages can they start with really young kids, like kindergarten, grade 3? What do parents and teachers start with?
So first, I think I'd like to mention that I think no matter what age kids are, they are a lot more technologically savvy than I was when I was a kid. So I'm just going to put that out there that I think some of our students could probably teach me a thing or two. It doesn't need to be complicated, but it is important. The earlier you get used to implementing good cybersecurity practices, the better. It becomes second nature after that, just like brushing your teeth. So first and most importantly, don't share your password and don't reuse passwords. It might be easy to use the same password on your phone, your laptop, different social media apps, but that's one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Another common mistake is using a password like 123456. It's the most common password and it's the most easily cracked password. It's not good. We recommend passphrases, which can be a mix of 4 random words or more. They usually make the strongest passwords. But also, you can teach your kids to be careful what links you click on and what apps you're letting them download on their devices, whether it be at a young age or as they get older. And encourage your kids to always ask a trusted adult for help if they think that an app isn't safe or a link that they received is suspicious. And finally, the main takeaway, be careful what you share on the internet, whether it's on social media platforms while playing video games or in emails or chats. Keep your private information private. Anytime you publish something on the internet, it's out there forever.
Forever. Yep. Good message. Okay, here's another interesting question. Why do parents hate social media? What's so bad about it?
It's an interesting question, and I think what I'll say is parents are just trying to keep all of you safe. I try to keep my son safe as well, and for good reason. There's a lot of bad people online trying to take advantage of you. As much as social media can be fun and it can help you stay in touch with your friends, it can also be a dangerous place if you aren't careful. That's just the reality of the world we live in today. Discord, Snapchat, Steam, or other apps like Facebook, Twitter, FaceTime, they can all be used by bad people to take advantage of someone, not just kids. They can take advantage of adults too, and they do.
Mm-hmm.
People use these platforms to share lies, which is often referred to as disinformation and misinformation. That's why it's very important to learn how to use social media and other online platforms and the internet safely as early as possible. You can never stop learning, and I'm still learning today. And I work at an intelligence agency that handles cybersecurity. So I think just keep that in mind. There's always bad people online pretending to be someone that you can trust. So it's good to be critical. It's good to ask questions. And it's good to talk about these things with trusted adults or also with your friends. If you're seeing a suspicious message or someone sliding into your inbox asking you strange questions, ask around. Someone also may have had that same experience and they may have learned from that experience and they can share that with you too. So just remember, always use trustworthy social media platforms and pay attention to the security features. We always encourage our clients as well as our partners that we work with to turn on all the default security settings to make sure that your information isn't being stored in a bad way.
Yeah, excellent advice. So here's our wrap-up question, and everybody that's joining us for a CyberSprint gets this question. We want to get a lot of perspectives on this. What's the number one thing you think young people need to know about cyber safety in general?
Well, I think I'm just going to repeat what I've said a couple of times today. It's okay to ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
We encourage you to ask questions. No one's going to be mad if you ask questions about cyber safety. It's not straightforward. Every day in the news, there are more and more stories about phishing, ransomware, malware strains, cybercrime, online fraud, data theft. And there's a lot of information online, and security advice is constantly changing and evolving, the same way as social media platforms and applications are evolving and changing. Cyber scams can happen to anyone, and the best way to prevent yourself from them is by taking simple steps to enhance your cybersecurity. Like I mentioned, by strong passwords or enabling multi-factor authentication when you have opportunities to do that. And cybersecurity is a team sport. We need everyone to work together to make us as secure as possible, whether that's by asking questions, sharing lessons learned, or helping others. That's the best way to combat cybercrime. And if you're looking for answers to security questions, you can find credible advice on getcybersafe.gc.ca or cyber.gc.ca. And even if you're doing research for school project, you need help checking sources, the same thing applies. We have a lot of helpful, useful information, and that's why we publish that on our websites, is so that Canadians and students such as yourself can take advantage of that. And we're here to help. Don't be afraid to ask questions, whether it's to a government expert or whether it's to your teacher, or most importantly, to your parents.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Evan. We really appreciate your time today.
You're very welcome. Happy Cyber Month.